How to Bomb the U.S. Government by Million Dollar Extreme. The official Primo strategy guide to the collapse of Western civilization. Your digitally enhanced roadmap to being cool. Now, today. This is a book by Sam Hyde and his friends at Million Dollar Extreme. If you know who Sam Hyde is, he's did the Drexel TED Talks prank and recently had World Peace on Adult Swim. Now, just in time for the holiday season, comes his book, How to Bomb the U.S. Government. The backside of the book states that this is a 100% safe book, so you have really nothing to worry about, and that you won't find ISIS or terrorist plans in here, or how to actually make bombs and bomb the U.S. government. It's just kind of something really edgy, and, well, maybe abstractly, he is bombing the U.S. government in some respect. This book, I think, comes into the tradition of Wyndham Lewis's Blast, mixed with the post-crime think Days of War, Nights of Love, anarcho fiction, but at the same time is a very alt-right manifesto, and in the same respect. Right on the front cover it says Zio Lens Mind Control, about the whole Zionist media thing. Remember Zog, the whole old right? And it's just a wonderful book full of Sam Hyde's art and other things in it too. Just for your notice, I have seen Sam Hyde live in Philadelphia. I actually seen him about last year, actually, and I got the opportunity to go see him with a couple of friends and see him show a World Peace before it was even aired on MTV. And at the time, it was an unknown name. It wasn't really called World Peace. It was just a bunch of skits, and it's unfortunate because most of those skits didn't get aired, or they didn't were not in the last the cut. And I wish Adult Swim would have picked up and made all those clips possible and showed them. And yeah, at the event live in Philadelphia, Sam Hyde made everyone turn into a gay Muslim, where he told us to pray to Allah and make a noise, and we all became gay Muslims. Attaches an actual picture of me with Sam Hyde. After the show, I got to talk to him about cool things, along with my Asian girlfriend. So here's the picture, but I cropped myself out there and her. So I don't want you to think that I'm faking. That this is actually real. So there's Sam in the blue, and yeah, he's a really cool guy, and he's actually quite serious about the things he does. So, yeah, I'm just, it was cool and it's awesome. And now that there's this book, How to Bomb the U.S. Government, really gets his ideals out there in literature and fiction. Now, I'm not going to talk about the whole book in detail, but I am going to talk about particular two passages in the books, which I think it's very important to understand. Namely, Sam Hyde's criticism on Asian girls. If you don't know me by now, I am a person who advocates Asian Arianism, or at least talks about it, and flirts with it as my YouTube identity. And so, I think Asian Arianism has a lot to do with today's society and what is happening, and it's little talked about. But when Sam talks about it, he has some criticisms for it. It's quite on the negative side. So, for the first part I've seen, there's this very abstract picture that says, dating a Chinese girl isn't all that. I'll read it. Dating a Chinese girl isn't all that. For one thing, she gets all her memes from Chinese Facebook, which is way an exhaust pipe of American Facebook, which itself is miles away from the real meme creators at Reddit. Another one of the many reasons to keep online life and real life separate. The other problem is that it's just damn obvious to anyone who knows what's up that you're a pedophile. Everybody's really polite about it. But there's always that nagging shame whenever you're out with her in public. Not enough shame for you to make any attempt at reeling in your facilities, but still a handicap. Anyway, I'm not into that shit. And that's pretty much Sam's commentary about having a Chinese girlfriend. I looked through the book to find other passages, but this seems to be the most important one. I mean, I have criticisms for Sam, and I recently sent Sam Hyde an email concerning this. He seems to have four criticisms. The first criticism is that internet life and real life should be separate, and that the Chinese girls have a higher expectation of white men because of the internet. And supposedly, those two things should be separate. I would say that we live in a digital age and we're in an information age, so that doesn't really care at the moment, and that's going to happen. That's just unavoidable. You may want to say on life and real life are separate. Chances are, with Marshall McLuhan's ideal about medium is the message, we're now a part of the machines. It's funny because Sam Hyde loves to talk about cyberpunk stuff all the time. And so Sam should address that online life and real life cannot be separated and rather is a part of our culture now. And I like using Chinese services like WeChat and their Chinese social websites. So I think it's funny because the Chinese have a unique artistic way of looking at things, even though most Westerners are not really aware of that. Um, he also has the criticism that if if I bring my Asian girl to the $1 Million Extreme event, everybody's gonna look at me as a sorry, as a pedophile, which I think is that's not true. I mean, I get it to understand the point where like it's like I understand like in Japanese literature and some of the Asian literature. I'm looking at the Izu Dancer by Kawabata in my library right now. Yeah, it's there's a lot of loving of the youthful nature. I know it's a current like joke, a gag over and over again, obsession with youth, but it's like at the same time, it's also like it's not really like I'm like a homosexual dating, you know, and it's not like I just don't understand the point where it makes me a pedophile dating someone who's like really pretty. So I would have to explain an extra video on that part about what's the um why people would think that. But it's unfortunate Sam would think that way, and that it's some kind of handicap for me to go with an Asian girl. Now, I will agree that everyone is on this handicap, and there's some way it's men going their own way, but with Asian girls. So if you want to call that a handicap, go ahead, and I think that is a very truthful handicap for that matter. Um. Anyway, he also says he's just not into it. I'm like, I get it. Like some people are just not into Asian girls, but at this current moment in time, all my white friends are into Asian girls, and so that's kind of weird to say that you're not into something which seems so pretty obvious that it's something you should go after. I mean, were you going to go back to your white feminist girls who are ironic and funny? I mean, I guess that's what Sam likes, right? I mean, similar people go with similar styles. I mean, that's just your preference, but I'm thinking that this persuasion to go with Asian girls at the current moment is strong, and it's happening, and it's just there. And he really just gives you like 3 weak things about it. I don't know if Sam ever dated a Chinese girl before. Maybe he has, and maybe he just had a awkward understanding of the situation. Um, Maybe he should just try again. If Sam, if you're watching this video, I hope you read my email, my lengthy email about the criticism of this particular chapter. Um, Next, I want to go over a different part of the book, which I found really interesting, that has a lot to do with the YouTube culture and the strange gamer culture, which has a lot to do with the Asian philosophy of what we know. Sam is really does a lot of character studies. He makes fun of people who are like legitimately like real. In the part of the book, there's a otaku kid running for American United States president, which I think is funny. You know, he'll also do jokes of character studies, like he's a gay guy in the first episode of World Peace. But for this one, it's this joke of this gamer kid, and there's a picture in the book of this crude drawing. I'll read some of the details for it. It says, "1. My hair looks like Techu Samu battler," and the guy goes, "Why is everybody such a fucking asshole? Um, they just want to use her and fuck her. I would treat her like a lady. And he goes, how do guys get laid? And then here's the funny part, Maple's story. That was an anime role-playing game. Energy drink for what? Burning binders full of torrented duds? Oh, DVDs? Blah. Weak as shit, but claims to know all about kung fu, possibly kendo. Let's see. Devil May Cry cosplay. Navy Crew socks. Fucktard. Rare Golem magic card. Crotch smells like salad dressing. And he says he has Asperger's. I like this one. Anime card for this weird convention. And then it says at the bottom, is this you? Which could possibly be most Asperger kids into anime like this. I mean, I certainly know this for joining the own anime club and video game club at my own colleges I've been to. And yeah, you bump into a lot of these weak people who don't know anything better. However, this is, I mean, I don't mean to, forgive or, I'm saying is the behavior should be repented. I mean, yeah, it's a weak person, but at least that weak person should get red pilled and start lifting weights and eating healthy and understanding the true nature of life. I think this is funny. It says oversized cranium full of useless facts and Japanese pedophile fantasies. Again, with the whole Japanese pedophile thing. I mean, I'll admit to myself, I do like Peter Sotis's avant-garde zine stuff. I mean, that's weird and pedophilic, and I do like yaoi and stuff. I mean, okay, if you really want to if I'm being honest about myself, but at the same time, you're taking this to a legitimate, like he's some kind of monster. At least repent the behavior and, fix it. But enough about that character study. That's just a weak person, and I do not represent that in any way. And I wouldn't want any Asian Aryan to do that style. I don't want him to be a new cuck like that. I would like any Asian Aryan to do healthy things and look like guys from Identity Europa. But back to this whole chapter. I think I'm going to read the first passage on here, and it's kind of a very Asian Aryan thing. Let me read it. It says, game. Why, yes I do. Chilling in the Triforce game den with my big-titted Asian girlfriend. Of course we are gaming all day, and of course we are capturing it all on podcast. Super Metroid, Rufio from Hook, Nickelodeon Gak, and of course my homeboy MC Chris. 80s and 90s nostalgia at its finest. Fire up the 4-way controller and have some friends over some man-on-man action with Left 4 Dead. Of course I'm blasting everybody with the pulsar I saw, my personal favorite, the crowbar. $40 to $60 is a reasonable price to pay for a game, especially when you consider how much good, constructive use you get out of it. When you sit back and think about the dimension and complexity that games add to your life, especially anime fantasy stories, where you go on a 3-hour-long quest to unlock another 2-hour quest to fight the boss and get the ultimate materia. It definitely makes sense to pay $60 for this, or spend a little more for the collector's tin. Collecting things like dunnies, like the Kid Robot vinyl toys, and figurines and maintaining a large collection of stuff is important because it harkens back to our caveman days and puts us in touch with what makes us human. I don't know about you, but if my room wasn't packed to the brim with comics and gay little figurines and all the stupid shit I bought, I feel pretty unaccomplished. Damn. Now that's just the first passage, but once again, it sounds so real that you do have a big tit Asian girlfriend. Gamers do this stuff, and I think it really hits home because I love vinyl toys, and I do have a huge collection of vinyl toys at home. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a big tit Asian girlfriend. I mean, I don't even know big tit Asian girls, but it seems to me that this whole gamer culture that Sam Hyde's really hitting on is itself half of Asian Aryan. It is definitely a bridge to Asian Aryanism. In my one interview with Hannah I was talking about this, about how gamer culture today, even though how vile it is with these disgusting Asperger kids Sam was just mentioning on one page, however, I think it is important that this is a bridging and really just an abstract liking for Asian culture. Too many video games of the 80s and 90s were Japanese, and now these like video games like Undertale is just like a American bastardization of that. I think the artist is Asian American too, I think. And so there is that pan Asian Arianism happening. And I think it's wonderful that you can have a big tit Asian girlfriend and like do these things. But once again, I'm against this materialistic behavior that Bomb the U.S. government is against. And I'm really, this is one step to Asian Arianism. Now, let me read another from that same chapter. Whatchamacallit? This one. Look at my girlfriend's cosplay and tell me you aren't jealous. I love my waifu and her cosplay des. There's something so sexy about cosplay. Dumpy girls who have no business leaving the house, really they sit on their asses 500,000 hours out of the year. But when it comes time to play pretend Japanese cartoons, they get done up to 9 and strut their stuff. It's hot as hell, and I'm not joking. Big dumpy legs, big milky tits, lots of acne, all wrapped up tight like a sausage. The last time I went to one of these conventions, they had all these beanbag chairs lined up outside some LARP panel, and I was laying on one. And this fat 15-year-old Misty from Pokemon bent over and put her pussy right in my face. The following week, I masturbated so much I think I bruised my urethra. So kawaii. Now, obviously, he's joking about the whole ugly people. They're making the bridge to Asian Arianism, but they're fat and they're ugly consumers. That's something I don't want at all, and he's joking on that. But hold on. Of course, for my own girlfriend, I had to choose the cutest and most diminutive of all the Tifa princesses. She is as cute as Asuke, but as a wife like as Aoi. Something like 4'6" tall, with incredibly sexy long gymnast running legs, long white blue hair, likes the color green, has a fetish for hoodies, has an obsession with dubstep, and is very young, almost Japanese looking. Her name is Ioko, or Aiko. Aiko also has fucking beautiful, huge eyes that shimmer. Sometimes they are purple. Sometimes they are gold. Perky firmness all around with fair skin. Oh my fucking god, belly dancing hips, tattoos, and tomboy style with underlying femininity. She is assertive too, almost bitchy to other guys. Yes, I like the real word tsundere girls. That's like the mad. In the end, I want a partner, not a pet. And what good is a pet who is hooking up with other guys because she looks too meek to refuse them? What good is a woman who neither thinks nor speaks? If all you need is a hole, you can rent those. Did I mention she's a trap? I think that's a very interesting commentary. I know he's joking, but this whole chapter on just joking about these ugly cosplayer people reveals something about today's sexuality among millennials and the early Gen X's who had HAPAs. It's true that there are upper class Asian Aryans and lower class Asian Aryans, and Sam is really hitting on these lower class Asian Aryans that are just like these disgusting people, but at least have interest in Asian culture. And I would say God bless them if they get an Asian girlfriend and start doing this stuff. Even though I know that, like, I remember watching this American Idol thing, and Taku does an American Idol thing, and she was like a real like white otaku who just did these things. But it's funny because in that clip, sometimes white people, they want things, but they want it to be in their own white culture and not actually make the leap in assimilation to be more Asian. And I think that is a very important value to have if you're becoming Asian Aryan. These white otakus that Sam are talking about, they're just like American Midwest kids, but they think they can be anime characters. So as long as they dress it and believe it like a religion, but they're not making any steps of like learning the language or reading books or doing healthy normative things or having something of white identity. As if they're neutered of white identity, but they're allowed to be Asian. I think that's the paradigm we're living in right now with this whole gamer thing. Everybody wants to be an anime character, but they are irrationally have this white identity complex, and they want it to be more white, or they don't want to believe in white identity, and they're looking to escapism to be this Asian character. And so I think that is very crucial to understand at the moment. And so Sam only really talks about those Asian subjects in How to Bomb the U.S. government in those two important chapters from what I found. There are other references to other things that are funny, and he certainly goes over a lot of politics. Um, I love his chapter where Sam criticizes like white girls and like stupid white men. Um, there's like this couple of like this stupid like neckbeard guy with like a stupid hat and like the typical like white beta male cuck and the stupid like white girl I don't like either. But I'll read that one too, just for as a bonus piece. But this does have a lot to do with the white people situation, and we're contrasting this to the whole Asian thing he's talking about. So, I can't believe she sucks this pathetic pieces of shit's dick. Cornball loser. Arcade fire fuck. This kid should have been thrown out when he was a baby. He's obviously genetic poisoned the man. He is smiling like that because his face is so ugly and his teeth are so yellow that he's got no choice because to be like a silly goofball wacky clown man. Anyone who has fat and had braces in high school knows what it's like to have no choice other than make everyone laugh all the time. It's basically like having a gun in your head and nobody knows that better than the guy in these pictures. You have two choices in this situation. You can either start tap dancing and singing and telling people that you don't have a gun in your head, or you can start lifting weights and buying normal clothes. For any self-respecting individualist indie rocker, option B is an insult and akin to failure. And so you have to keep tapping your feet and grinning like a Dun King, booth idiot, and probably self-medicate a lot with either weed or candy until your teeth are a nice shade of Ferrari fly yellow. Bill Cosby makes a public stink quite often about urban youth sagging their jeans and spouting gibberish nonsense words. He's upset that he lived through the civil rights era only to see his own race make itself look like a bunch of savage retards. That's why I feel like I'm doing with this worm kid. You are a bad ambassador for the white race. You look like shit. You should hang yourself. His favorite authors are probably J.D. Salinger and D.H. Lawrence. This is what passes a good boyfriend material nowadays. Test tube babies, dandelion dreamers, fancy fops, escort princes, and apology wizards. I'm not some men's right activist who thinks that women are dumb robot sluts, biologically programmed to open their legs only for alpha males. But I just do not understand why you would date this guy unless you were in a wheelchair or he has a lot of money. Look at this kid. If the apartment was on fire, he would run screaming and leave you inside to die. If a bunch of urban youths, black people, were talking and laughing in a movie theater and ruining the movie, he would probably apologize to them. What does he fuck you real good? Or, what does he fuck you real good? Is this kid secretly a horse-hung fuck monster and I just can't tell? The other thing that bothers me is the girl clearly has her shit together. You can tell by the shape of her face. She's probably in school for something not useless. She probably doesn't get, I'm not gonna go over this tale, but Sam basically says that it should be, like the thing is, he says, quote, if you ask him why she is sexy, is she sexy, he'd say, because she's such a good friend. Fuck this kid. She's not the type of big fat Nordic powerlifting TV addict dyke who doesn't clean up after her cats that would match well with this fag. She should be dating someone cool, like me. Now, that's really interesting is because that just shows you how problematic white girls are today. You know, white girls prefer this, that white girls have the upper hand in the relationship. It's often said that, you know, men choose and women display, when really I think there's more natural evidence to women choose and men display. And that's a problem right now in this white coupling today. This is advice for white nationalists, is because that we tend to believe those opposite things, and yet the truth is men display, women choose, and women make bad choices because the men displaying are beta cucks, and they are propagating feminism. It's just like how Percy Shelley and John Stuart Mill were the ones to tell white girls that they should be more about the beauty of an intellectual personality. This is destroying white population births and about how white people should, this is why it's unbearable, why I don't want to date white girls. You know, this is why people are heading for Asian women. just as Sam said before, I know Sam's probably critical of Asian girls and would probably choose this white girl or something like that. I don't understand. It's probably this weird punk rock, Fort Thunder, artsy fartsy electronic music culture that Sam's a part of, but like he just there's a beauty to Asian girls that he just doesn't get, and I mean you can have all the trust you want that white girls are going to be these saviors and princesses. I mean, I'm coming this from a men going their own way point of view, but instead I'm not saying that you should dupe women. You should just go for Asian girls. No way am I saying that men going their own. I'm promoting men going their own way. I'm just saying is that the Asian Arianism is right, and he should really look into that, and especially that I could not stand being with a white girl or in a culture what this one chapter Sam talks about. So that is a very interesting thing, especially about the crucial relationship with white girls. It's definitely why anyone would want to choose Asian over that. And so the book is definitely full of other fun stuff, and I could just go on in every chapter, but I thought those were three important things, especially about the Asian Aryan aspect of it. So I've only reviewed How to Bomb the U.S. Government in a Asian Aryan philosophy, and why it's meaningful to date Asian girls and be with one, have children with them, is because the situation with white girls and white men are just disgusting, and they should just repent and lift weights or something, just like what Sam said. I mean, white men could, become like a Jack Donovan or a healthy person and like do Christian manly things and woo over their white woman, but their white woman's going to be this dumb feminist that doesn't know any better, and you're going to have like white children that are going to do the same feminist stuff. So as long as they fall for those ideological things. But if you were to marry an Asian girl who's all forgiving and promising, she herself, you're not going to have these problematic white kids that are causing problems. You're going to have a new race of people called Asian Aryans. If an Asian girl becomes feminist, she's going to become a yellow feminist, and she's going to like white men in return. It's something that's happening right now, and I hope if Sam is watching this, I hope you understand the Asian Aryan influence of that. I mean, Sam, you saw my girlfriend there. You know who she is. I mean, I blocked her out because I'm not with her at the moment, but still, I mean, it's like you should know that there's an inner city culture of white male Asian females and some Asian male white females that are like into stuff you like, but it doesn't have to be like all white and like stuff white people like, but it can be stuff white people like, but it can be also with Asian girlfriends. And so Sam, I hope you're watching this video. I really like your book, but I would like you to further elaborate on the Asian question and maybe talk about your own relationship with Asian girls, and maybe say it's not that bad at all, really. And hopefully, Sam, maybe you yourself can become an Asian Aryan. I would like to hear that. So, yeah, that's how to bomb the U.S. government from a Asian Aryan perspective, at least from what I've read so far. I've still yet to uncover all the little things in the book. So you should get it? Well, once again, if you like avant-garde literature, sure. But once again, I gave you the Asian Aryan perspective. Fellow Asian Aryans, I wouldn't suggest to get this book. But yeah.